Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 45 of TeachTechPlay. I'm Eleni Kuritzis, the host and founder of TeachTechPlay. Firstly, I'd like to say Happy New Year to everyone and welcome back. Now, I know for people in Australia, you've just started back either today or yesterday, and your kids will be starting in the next few days as well. So good luck to you guys, and I hope it all goes well. Now, before we get started with the show, I just have some bad news. Well, not really bad, but kind of good for me. We have had a lot of questions on our social media accounts in regards to dates for the 2019 Teach Tech Play conference. I'm sad to announce, but this year we're going to be taking a break from the conference. The reason for that is we've just decided that after 3 years, we all just need a break, and term one is busy enough, and we just need to focus on our jobs that we have, and hopefully we'll be back in the next year, but we'll just see how we go. There may be some other smaller events that we do, but we'll give you some more information whether we're able to put these on. But always reach out to the community. We do have a wonderful community of educators from around the world that are willing to help and support people if you are wanting to get connected, or even if you have something you'd like to share on the show, just get in contact with me. Now, I'd just like to congratulate our last month's winner. So episode 44 winner was John Neal. He took out the crown with sharing co-spaces. So well done to John. And I know if you were at BET last week in London, you will have seen him there. He was on the Google booth presenting with Ollie, who has also presented on the show. Now, I think that's enough from me talking. So let's get started, and let's hear from our wonderful presenters, who they are, where they're from, and what they do. So Brent, we'll start with you.
Hi, my name is Brent Hughes. I work for Matific. I'm in Sydney, Australia.
Thank you. And we've had you before, and it's great to have you back.
I won last time as well.
Oh, you won last time, so pressure's on to take out the crown again. Bogdan, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us where you're from?
Hello, everybody. My name is Bogdan. I am actually based in Prague, but I travel all over the world. I am a Goulter for Education certified trainer. And as you said, I've just been at BET last week, so that was an interesting week of discovering new trends in education. So I'm really happy to be here. It's my first time, so
perfect.
We'll see how it goes.
Perfect. And we got to meet last year at BET, so it's taken me a year to get you on the show, but I'm glad we've got you here to share some wonderful things tonight as well. Next up, we've got Kim. And Kim, you're a returning presenter, but you've got something exciting tonight, which I'm glad we got you back on.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. I originally started out teaching high school technologies and media. However, since moving down to Esperance in Western Australia, I've begun working in a primary school. And this year I'm going to be the specialist teacher pre-primary to year 6 for digital technologies and science. I do this part-time because in my other time I run my own business doing digital technologies, education and workshops. And I'm also an author, which is what I'll be talking about a bit later on today.
Perfect. Thank you. You're quite busy like me, which is good. So I'm not the only one who is crazy doing a million things at the same time. So we're glad to have you here today as well. Next up to introduce themselves is another returning presenter, Trav. Where are you?
Thanks, Eleni. Thanks for having me again, returning. I don't have a crown, Brent, but I'm looking forward to hopefully getting one today. I want to give a shout out to all the teachers and everyone returning, especially in Queensland. Our kids returned either yesterday or today. I'm head of junior school at Ormiston College, just outside Brisbane in Queensland, and looking forward to tonight's show. What a panel.
I know, it's a big panel. I'm glad I'm not presenting tonight because I don't know how the voting is going to go. And last but not least, we've got Tim Evans, and I had the privilege of meeting and keynoting twice at the end of last year with Tim, and Tim is based in Hong Kong. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your role, Tim, what you do, etc.?
Hi, Eleni. Yeah, thanks for having me on this evening. So my name's Tim Evans. I'm the Educational Technology Coordinator here in Hong Kong at Stanford American School. It was a school that we opened back in August 2017. So we're pretty new on the scene, but it's been an exciting journey getting everything set up. And I look forward to presenting this evening. So thank you very much.
No problem. And I know you're doing some amazing things at your school, so great to have you on the show to share some of that too. So without further ado, we've got our first presenter, Brent, who will be sharing Matific. Now, if you haven't heard of Matific, I highly recommend it. I'm not going to say too much more, Brent, but let me know when you're ready and I will start the timer.
Alrighty. Is my screen there? Everyone see it?
Yep, perfect.
Cool. All right, excellent. So as Eleni said, I work for Matific. If you haven't seen it, I'll just show you briefly what it is. We're an online maths resource. So the guys behind Matific, which we've been around for about 5 years now, have created a whole suite of games that are designed to make the conceptual understanding elements of mathematics learning gamified. So a lot of the content that we do is relevant kinds of mental skills that children need to learn, but we apply it in a game-based situation. So unfortunately for maths education, when it went online, just because of ease, the first thing that it went to was abstract level mathematics. So like worksheets and 6 + 5, just punching in answers and things like that, because digitally that was easier to create. Thankfully, technology has moved a very long way. So just looking at the screen here, this little game, we can see the little ball bouncing along. That's the number line, teaching kids jump strategy by getting a ball to bounce into a net. It's fun, it's engaging, the kids absolutely love it, and we're able to do lots of amazing things with our teachers as a result of the work that their kids are doing. We have a big focus, obviously, on conceptual understanding and problem solving and computational thinking. That's been our sort of driving force for a very long time. But tonight, I'm pretty excited to present something which isn't released yet. And like all things tech, the release date on it is ever changing, and don't actually know when it's going to hit our site. But it's going to be soon. It's the final piece in our puzzle. So we have always been around the conceptual understanding focus, but what we've got is based around fluency, which is something that we've not dipped our toe in before. So just got a little video here. These are just some screen grabs of the activities that we have. So you can tell it's beta because that was just in Spanish. So the activities, we've just got 3 of them. And the idea is that the children get to compete against other kids around the world on a fluency style activity. So it's not something that we've looked at doing before. So the kids would be punching in answers to these types of questions, and then the little races up the top show how they're going and where they are in relation to the other kids. It's new for us. It's something that's been consistently requested by schools for a very, very long time. However, the benefit that I see in this is that for Matific, this won't be the most fun thing that we have. It will just be another fun thing that we have. There's other resources that I used when I was teaching in the classroom that were fluency focused, and the kids absolutely loved it. The issue was that they loved it so much more. Thank you. So much more than anything else that they had, that they preferenced that over anything else. Whereas what we've got is a lot of fun all of the time. This is just going to be an extra. So we're really excited about it, and we've done lots of focus groups with our teaching, and then we've got teacher ambassadors, of which I'm yet to try and get Eleni in on. But we think that the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. So we're excited to see what happens with this in the very short future. That's me done.
Perfect. 30 seconds spare. Well done.
Go, mate.
If you want to just stop sharing your screen. I know that I came across Matific a number of years ago. I think it was 3 years ago when you just started working at the company. And back then, there wasn't too many features. Like, it was amazing. I loved it. It was great. And then I moved schools and we were using another program. And then last year when I moved, I reached out again because re-looking at subscriptions and how much schools pay for actually these programs is quite astounding if you actually are in that kind of role and you need a budget for it. Yeah, it's quite a lot of money, and we sort of made the decision and we trialed Matific at the end of last year, and teachers absolutely loved it, especially for the younger kids, just the interactive components of it. So when they could cut fractions and move weights and turn taps to turn water on and fill up buckets, etc., they found it was very useful in the classroom, the way we teach in everyday sense as well. So we did make the move, and you know, out of a price factor for another program, we were able to buy a typing club, an assessment, like 4 others for the same price, including Matific. So for us as a school, it was very affordable, and teachers are really excited to use it. So I'm actually doing a PD for staff next week on how to use it and upskill them a bit more. So I can tell them, because that was a feature some of them were asking for. So I can say now it's coming, which is great.
It's something that's definitely been missing. So I think it's going to be that final piece for a lot of schools. So it's exciting.
Did anyone else have any questions or comments?
Eleni, just a quick question for Brent, having seen similar systems. Brent, is there a way to level the games?
Yeah, of course.
So I know some children will go on very basic level, so they just smash people. So is there a way for the teacher to set
Of course. So everything, like all those other features that you would expect in the classroom in terms of differentiation, targeting children to different skill sets, exactly what you just said there, making sure that the kids aren't doing a year 2 level so that they just win every time. Plus our questions are adaptive. So depending on what the children are answering and the speed with which that they answer them, the questions will adapt and change to try and give them that. It's like that, what's the zone of proximal development as a flashback to uni days. It's just sitting in that nice, not too hot, not too cold range.
Brent, if I could just jump in there, it looks awesome, but just on our side of things, is it app based or is it Chrome browser based?
It works on anything. So we have an app that we have an Android and an iPad app, but then also it works on computers. So the children just get a login, works on phones as well. You just, wherever you are, you can just jump in and have a go.
And just one question, boring, but it's important for us, is managing it then. Is that managed by the school then, or a classroom, or does a student just log in using a Gmail? How's it?
Yeah, so the logins are given to the kids, and they can be just like username and password like anything else. And then it's up to the teacher how they manage it. So you can either assign tasks for the students, or you can let our algorithm do it for you. And in any case, the children have a nice little neat pathway that they sort of work their way throughout the year. They earn stars and monster cards and all that sort of other fun stuff. But yeah, it's kind of handles itself if a teacher wants it to. And then there's all the reporting and the data analysis and exporting that for graphing purposes and all that other fun stuff.
We'll chat more about that, please.
Yeah.
If nothing else, we've made a sale.
And just so you know, from a setup point of view, like out of all the systems, because I've had to set everything up this year, and that's the first time I've done it, and it's been a nightmare. I'm sick of Excel and spreadsheets and filling in the same thing a million times. You pretty much just export your school, like first name, last name, and class teacher, and you just send it to them and they do it all for you. And then they email all the teachers the logins, and I must say it's the easiest way to set it up. So well done on having an amazing team to do that, because that saved me a lot of time. Some of the others I had to manually enter every new kid. Like I couldn't actually do it on a spreadsheet, which was annoying. So really handy to have a team that does that. So huge thank you. If anyone else does have any questions for Brent, just reach out to me, or you can always reach out to him on Twitter as well. I'm happy to put you in contact with him and the team. Next up today, we have got Bogdan, and you'll be sharing mapping with Google MyMaps. And it's funny because Tim actually tagged me in something, because I shared this in Taiwan at the end of last year. So I'm excited to see you present it, because I feel like I always present it. So let me know when you're ready and I will start the timer.
I am ready. I will just start sharing my screen and we'll go through it. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So this is this was my idea talking about maps, because I'm a science teacher, former science teacher, and whenever I present at various trainings and I mention MyMaps or just maps, people go like, yeah, but I'm not teaching geography or history or whatever you would expect to place on a map, right? And then I go, okay, but why don't we turn things around and use maps in a more creative way? We all know Google Maps, I assume. So this is something we use to get from point A to point B, find directions, travel, connections, and so on and so forth. Not everybody knows, though, that there's another version of maps which you can actually find in Google Drive. So in Google Drive, you can just go to the new button, and under more, you create Google My Maps. And this is where magic happens, because as a teacher, this is a very valuable tool. Once again, I focus on the idea of it being a tool and us using it in creative ways. So I just gave a simple example here. You could use this as an icebreaker, for example, at the start of the year, place the kids on the map, say, hey, put your name, put your photo, say a fun fact about yourself, and we'll see who is in the classroom or in our form, or hey, there's John who just won the prize last week. And so on and so forth. So this is just a quick example. This is something that I could do, just add the place on the map and add a photo, add some details, and so on and so forth. So these are the basics. But then you can start getting very creative with it. For a mathematics teacher, let's say you're teaching small kids and you want to teach them about perimeters, surfaces, and so on and so forth. Why not use even MyMaps and compare more or less the sizes of different countries, right? So I will just say, well, I live in Prague in the Czech Republic. So how about me comparing a rough estimate of the country, I mean the size of the country compared with Slovakia, for example, the neighbor, right? And I can easily move things around and talk about the whole idea of surface area, perimeters, shapes, and so on and so forth. Or let's say for bigger kids, I want to talk about projections still in mathematics. So I can start a whole discussion about projections on the map. And I will use the example that I like to use a lot. Hey, why is Greenland so big on the map when in fact the surface isn't nowhere near, right? So let's compare Greenland with Australia. So this is where we can start a whole discussion about, hey, why on the map it looks actually bigger than it actually is. We go into projections and we talk about this approach in mathematics. Or let's say I'm talking about history, geography, social sciences, and I can start a whole discussion about why is Greenland, or generally speaking, the northern hemisphere, why does it look bigger on the map compared to the southern hemisphere, and so on and so forth. So once again, it's just a simple tool. I managed to open so many conversations in various different topics and different subjects.
1 minute.
I can then take it further and add extra data on my map. So once again, it is collaborative. More people can add things on the map, but I can also import data. And this is where I can go to a database like, let's say, CIA World Factbook, and I can actually pull up a data table with loads of things like temperatures, populations, and everything like that, income, etc., place it on the map, and once again, have a great overview of data to start conversations with my students. So once again, we can do way more than this. This is just the starting point. Then I can take this map and share it with somebody, or save it as an image, place it on my site, classroom presentations, lessons, and so on and so forth. So once again, this is just to get the conversation starting and give you some maybe new ideas in using maps. And I think my time is up, so I will stop talking.
You have 5 seconds, so well done. Everyone has done so well with their time today. I'm terrible with the time, so I'm glad I'm not presenting tonight. But yeah, so MyMaps, if anyone knows anything about me and some of my favorite tools, MyMaps is probably one of those. Just so schools in Australia know, you do have access to it if you are using Google for Education in your school. It may not appear in your Google Drive though. It just needs to be turned on within the admin console, and you can reach out to me or Bogdan if you're unsure how to do this. more than happy to help. But yeah, I've used it for a whole range of ways, especially a lot of our students at this time of year are doing where we come from, you know, all about us, our family. And I find it's a good little home learning task as well, where you can get the parents to plot where grandparents and everyone is, and you can actually see where we are from around the world. Especially if you are at an international school, I think it's amazing to see all the different cultures at your school as well. Did anyone else have any questions or comments?
Eleni, I just think that tool could help you with your geography of Queensland, so you might be able to use it, work out north and central Queensland. So.
Yes, so for those of you who don't know, I was actually up in central Queensland last week doing a training at a school up there, and on my social media I said I was going to far north Queensland, so thanks Travis. I now know my Queensland a bit better. I had never been there before, and I just knew it was north. Okay, from Melbourne it's quite far. So don't be mean. But were there any other questions or comments besides my terrible geography locations of Australia? No? All good. Easy. Thank you. Next up we have Kim. And Kim, you'll be sharing your book, which is really exciting. And we had you share another book earlier in the year, but I won't say too much in case you do mention that one as well. So let me know when you are ready and I will start the timer.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Eleni, and thanks for having me on. So I'm here today to talk a little bit about the second book that I've written in the Tweeting Glass series, The Surfing Penguin. And I'm just going to share my screen with you now so that I can bring up a PowerPoint with some more info. How's that?
Yep, perfect.
Beautiful. So my goal with The Surfing Penguin was to provide an entertaining and engaging approach to cyber safety education to help primary school age kids learn how to be safe and happy online. It's a collection of 4 short stories. So first up, we have little Pablo the penguin, who learns about the importance of safe search filters after he accidentally stumbles across a scary movie online with his older brother. Next, there's Quinn the quokka from Rottnest Island. Like most quokkas on Rottnest Island, she loves to take selfies. She became really upset though when some classmates posted mean comments about her picture. Luckily, another classmate stood up to them. Then we have Edgar the echidna, who trolls his friends through an online game. This was a really interesting story to write, as it's from the perspective of a character doing the trolling rather than experiencing it. And finally, there's Gabrielle and Gabbo the Glaz. And Gabbo, some of you may remember as the Tweeting Gla in my first book. Gabrielle learns an important lesson about not posting too much info online after one of her pictures leads some hungry kestrels straight to their stash of macadamia nuts. Each story concludes with reflection questions and an augmented reality experience. I was so excited to have the AR component in these books. I think they offer a really great opportunity to integrate new technologies with the traditional book format. And of course, it's a great way of engaging the kids as well. All they have to do is scan the Zapper code. You can see it in the bottom right-hand corner there, with the free Zapper app that they download onto their device. Once they scan it, the Zap experience will begin on their screen. There's some different games and a game name generator that they can do, but I think my favourite is the penguin selfie, which you can see there. Had a little bit of fun with that one. I've also been developing a lesson library on my website to support teachers using the book in the classroom. So this has lesson plans, activities and worksheets, all linked into the Australian curriculum. Got digital technologies, health, literacy, maths, and it's an aspect that I'm really hoping to grow over the year as well. The book has been written for years 3 to 6 in mind, although I do know of teachers that have gone younger down to years 1 and 2 as well.
1 minute.
Awesome. The books have been self-published, which has been a lot of work, but also so much fun. And I've just been completely blown away by the support from teachers all around the world, and including yourself, Eleni. It's been awesome. You shared some resources last year as well that you used with your class. And just finally, I'd like to give a shout out to John Field, who's done these incredible illustrations that you saw from the book, and also Mark Najira, who put together the AR for me. It's been wonderful experience, and I look forward to the third book coming out, hopefully soon.
Perfect. Thank you, Kim. And you've got 17 seconds left. So
Awesome.
everyone has finished just under tonight, which is fantastic. I know that when you released your first book and I used it in the classroom, it was amazing. And I linked it to the 5 Ps that I was using within my school. And when I was in Taiwan with Tim, he was presenting a cyber safety session and we were talking about different cyber safety programs that teachers around the world at this international event were using, and I was talking about how I was developing a new digital passport for our 3s and 4s. And it was funny because you hadn't quite released it yet, I think, or I hadn't seen it yet. And I was like, oh, what book am I going to use? Because those kids have already used the Tweeting Galah. I used that with them last year when I had them in year 3, and now they're in year 4. But it's perfect. I can use the Tweeting Galah with the year 3s and your new book with the year 4. So I am really excited to see it, and I'll be sharing out some resources linking to it as well very soon. So definitely reach out, and I can't wait for book 3 either. You're just a busy bee. I don't know how you do it. Did anyone else have any questions or comments?
Just a quick question on my side, because I'm on the other side of the world and shipping and things could be difficult. Are you thinking of having also an ebook version or something like that that could be easier to get your hands on and use in the classroom around the world?
Yeah, great question. It is something that I'm thinking about doing. For the moment, I've got quite a few of these printed ones that I need to move, but I am shipping worldwide, so teachers around the world can still order printed copies. But yes, stay tuned for hopefully ebook or audiobook one day.
And I must say, I love it how you've connected it to Australian animals. I think that's really unique because, you know, around the world, we don't really have, you know, the unique Australian animals. And there's not just a kangaroo or koala. We have so many more than just that. So I like how you have different animals throughout the book. Any other questions or comments? No? All good. Next up, we've got Trav. So you are talking about Carnival time, putting the fun into STEM. And I know that at your school you are doing amazing things. So I can't wait to see what you have installed for us today.
All right, Eleni, let's rock and roll.
Let me know when you're ready and I'll start the timer.
Okay, screen up there?
Yeah, yep, perfect.
Fantastic. Like many schools right across, not just Australia, the world, I understand STEM, STEAM, digital technologies plays a huge role. So we're a prep to year 12 college, and right across our college, digital technologies, and we refer to it as STEM, is embedded in our classes and in our units of work. Now, of course, with any area of learning, there's some students who really are passionate about it, who can't get enough of that maker space, creating, coding, computational thinking, etc. So in our junior school, over the last few years, we've created our STEM club, and it gave our students an opportunity to build on those skills and understanding that they were doing in class. So it was like a co-curricular activity for these students after school. Now, STEM Club has been going for a few years, and last year we just felt it needed a revamp. We wanted to really, I guess, give it a boost, take it to the next level for these students, because we found they were working through coding projects and all sorts of mini projects, but we wanted it to be a bit more media. So what we looked at is incorporating the design thinking process, a process that we were using in our classrooms and introduced right across last year, and we wanted to build on that. So I've just put the design thinking process we use, and I'm not sure how familiar people are with it, but empathizing, of course, right there is empathizing with the people that the problem or issue affects, defining what that looks like, ideating, coming up with as many ideas as you can and working through those. Of course, prototype is coming up after you decided on your best idea, coming up with a prototype of that idea and going through that testing process. Now, how Carnival time linked in, because at that time, we'd have just had a carnival at our school, which had its own sideshow alley, and we had the Brisbane, what's called the ECA, Brisbane Exhibition, in Brisbane, Eleni, capital of Queensland, just letting you know. We had that. And so we wanted the kids to look at the science and mathematics and engineering behind sideshow alley games and how really the odds are not in your favour if you're a player. So this is a really good video that I've linked in there called Carnival Scam Science, and it really looks at some of the science behind it. It was a hook we used to get the kids in. And so then for one term, they looked at science behind games, the probability, how games are designed, and then they had to come up with their own sideshow alley game. They had to go through that design thinking process to come up with their own game. So over quite a few weeks, they went through each step. And then what we held is our own carnival. So we held our own carnival afternoon at STEM Club where the students were given pretend money. We made OC dollars up and they had to go and play each other's game. And it was amazing.
1 minute.
Oh, it was amazing to see what the students had come up with and the way they engaged with each other. We had that basketball game that in Sideshow Alley, we had a drone version of that where you had to pick up a ball and then put it in different hoops with different money. We had a Sphero maze. We had this Sphero water game going on. We had Minecraft Sideshow Alley games. There's one using a Nerf gun and a target where you had to get a certain amount. So using math skills. And what was amazing is just to see the way the students engaged and also then to go back and just reflect on how they could improve their games, take on feedback from each other. And it really, they were in that flow. We talk about flow. These students were in this flow for the term. What they wanted was more time because they wanted to go back and I guess work on their prototypes and work on some different ideas. We just ran out of time, but it just was a really great activity. And if you're looking to really take, I guess, STEM and STEAM to your next level, STEM Club's a great idea. It's for all learners.
Perfect. And that looks like a lot of fun. I know I've done something similar but used Kane's Arcade and having kids design arcade games, but I really like that idea. We do that in our 3-4s where they do Kane's Arcade, but we could easily do it in the 5-6s and incorporating, the drones and the robotics and the coding aspect into it, which I hadn't actually thought of. So something for me to, thanks. I've got my work cut out for me this year. But really cool idea. And I know if you haven't checked out Ormiston and the great things they're doing, make sure you do follow Trav and see the great learning taking place. It's always exciting to see what ideas and things come, what you're really doing next in your classroom. If you just want to stop sharing your screen and if anyone has any other questions or comments, they can fire them your way.
Such an awesome idea, Travis.
Thanks.
I just had one question. You might have said it at the start, but what age group were your kids doing this?
These were year 4 to 6s. So, year 4 to 6s. We do run an alternate STEM club for our year 3s during lunch times where they were doing their own project-based learning. But this was for years 4 to 6s. And I'm really excited because we were just planning this semester's focus, and we're going to be looking at STEM or STEAM in film and television. So we're looking at animation, green screen, stop go animation. I'm looking at podcasting, all sorts of cool stuff we're going to be doing with the kids.
Perfect. We might have to get you on at the end to share that as well. I'll steal all your ideas.
All good.
Perfect. Any other questions or comments? No. All good.
Okay.
Easy.
All right. Thank you.
Last up for today's show, we have got Tim. And if anyone has been following Tim on Twitter or Instagram, The things that he is doing with AR in the classroom is blowing my mind. So I said, I need you on to share this, and I need to know how to do it as well. So I'm grateful to have Tim here. And if you're not following, because especially on Instagram, he is new, so follow him and check out what he's doing. But I'll let him share what he is doing today. So tell me when you're ready and I will start the timer.
Great, cheers, Eleni. I'll share my screen. So when I saw I was last up, I thought I was going to stay save the best to last. But after following you guys, I'm not so sure. Right. So as Eleni mentioned, we're looking at. I'm going to share an AR app with you here. So it's AR Makr. Just to give you a bit of a background. So last year we were exploring augmented reality, and it was basically we were using apps that had been produced by people that we could actually go what you might call an app where the students are consuming the technology. The technology is advancing so fast. So I mentioned at the very beginning, we're in a school. We're 18 months, 2 years into the life of the school. Well, the technology's changed in that period. So we're currently using, since pretty much Christmas, basically, we're using an app called AR Makr here. Okay. And what I've done is I've done a screen grab of an iPad so you can actually see how it looks. So we now want students to actually start using and creating their own AR experiences. So AR Makr is great. So what it does, it gives you a couple of scenes, ready-made scenes, so the students can be introduced to the technology, so they can start creating their own scenes. Okay, so this is a straightforward one here. 3 little pigs finding a flat surface. They can then go and start adding the images that are given to you here. So here we can see is a tree. They can choose the size of the tree, where they want to place it. We've had students as young as 5 use this. Okay, we introduced the concept to them, how it works. They can then go and use things like this. The technology, the actual technology behind this, for me, I get excited about this, is amazing. The actual tracking on it is unbelievable. So the students here, we introduce them counting, right, how many pigs. And what they can do then is they can record the screen, and it will record your voice as well. They can go then and start actually telling stories maybe. So it can be implemented in very different ways depending on what you're doing. Okay, we've used it with the young students. The wolf is in front of the tree, or the wolf is behind the bush, or there are 3 pigs. So they can go around, actually record what's there. So as you can see, the tracking on this is pretty good. The objects themselves won't actually move, and they can go record it. Advanced, then you can go and start taking this, putting it into an iMovie, start creating your own, add music, etc., add credits and things like that. So once you've recorded it, what we want to do then is, as I mentioned, we're almost consuming the technology there. Now we want the students to take it to another level. Well, what this app lets you do then is you can actually insert your own shapes and your own pre-created objects. Okay, so exactly the same concept. So on the left-hand side, you can see this is a shape I've just made in Keynote with some text. We can put it in there, we can lift it up, we can place it anywhere we want. So now the students can go and actually use it. A lot of our teachers use it in the same way as you would have used a PowerPoint or a Keynote, way back when we were in school, create a PowerPoint on the solar system. Well, now this is advanced in the way that students can go and actually create this. Again, they can record it. They can
1 minute.
I'm flying through this. They can put voice through on top of it and music on top of it. Again, it's just engaging students in a different way. Our students love it. Our teachers love it. I'm going to really skip through this video so you can actually see some other things that we've done. Art galleries. So a student can showcase their art. Okay, so we've had parents in, they can actually look at this, they can use this again. Where you haven't got wall space, you can actually put this up in the classroom so students can go around and look at this. We've used the gym area, and this is just highlighting plastic in the oceans while a student's gone and they're actually created their own little scene there. Solar system, again, this was a video with sound, and the students gone and actually presented their learning on the actual solar system. It's a great app. Our students love it. The engagement's there. It's so easy. A lot of our teachers weren't comfortable using it, or they were a bit scared to use it. Well, they learned it with the students, so they involved the students in the actual learning process of it. So that's AR Makr, and currently our students and teachers are loving it.
Perfect. Thank you, Tim. Now, quick question. Is it a paid app or a free app?
It's a free app. You'll be glad to hear.
Amazing. I am sending it to my text tonight.
I'm getting it now.
You don't even need to buy it. It's free.
Free.
Well, they're idiots.
Yeah.
And they've got 3 or 4 scenes that they've created now, but we just use them to introduce it, and then students go and create their own scenes then. And just to add a little point there, I know I'm over my time, we've used Keynote where you can actually create a shape or an image with no background, just export it into your photo albums, and then that can be used there then.
Yeah, it's perfect. I think that AR component that is being released these days is just amazing in the classroom. With the things that students can do and create is beyond believable. And last year I worked with a school and they began to delve into this area, and it was amazing, especially when the parents came in for the students to showcase their learning. The parents could not believe what they were seeing and that the students had actually created it themselves. There's no more solar system dioramas hanging from the roof. Every single student makes the exact same one where they spend probably weeks painting the planets because they spin and then they get smudged and they have to be fixed. So, this sort of thing, you focus on the learning and integrating tech authentically is just amazing. Were there any other questions or comments for Tim?
I just wanted to say the idea of having no wall space in your school so you can use it to sort of hang up your art, I think is just brilliant. Like in Australia, I know open plan classrooms and that sort of thing is really, that's been one of the side effects. We don't have any wall space to hang up and showcase any kids' work. I think that's just absolutely brilliant. I love it.
But it fits in because those of you who've been to Hong Kong, space is a challenge. But then you can start using corridor spaces. So we've got a big thing here where the buzzwords maker space, but we're trying to incorporate and build a culture of maker everywhere. You don't need a specific space to go to actually make. Why can't you make in the corridor? Why can't you make in the gym, etc.? So just again, it just gets students thinking in a different way, right? What can I use that space for? And the students are better at us. They've got more imagination. Do you mean? So we look at something, so we just leave it to them then.
Any other questions or comments? No? Easy. That brings us to the end of the show. And I'd just like to say, if anyone has any questions or comments or anything for any of our presenters, please feel free to reach out to me or them via social media. They're all on Twitter, and I think most of them are also on Instagram as well. So you can reach out to them, and I'm sure they're all willing to help you. I'm just going to share my screen quickly with you all to remind you to vote for your favorite presenter. And I laugh in saying that because good luck for voting for your favorite, because I think every one of our presenters for our first episode in 2019 has showcased something amazing. And I say this every month that it's my favorite episode because of what is showcased. And I just want to say that thank you to everyone who does come on and share what they do in their classroom and gives others ideas. I love TeachTechPlay online every month because I actually get free PD and all these amazing ideas that then I can implement. And it allows me to connect with wonderful people around the world who are willing to share. And I think that's what's so great with education today is how willing and helpful people are. So please reach out. And if you do have something you'd like to share, just send me a message. I'm not scary. Ask any of these guys, even though Travis likes to make fun of me all the time with my knowledge of things. This TeachTechPlay has allowed me to make friends around the globe, and I'm really grateful for that. So reach out, and I hope that, you all learned something today, and you could also share this with any colleagues. And I apologize for anyone who was super keen for their Easter break to come down to Melbourne for TeachTechPlay conference, but we just needed a break this year after 3 years, and hopefully we'll be back and just wait and see. We're trying to find work-life balance if there's a thing in teaching, but we will have episode 46 coming to you in March, and tune in for that one. And again, thank you to everyone, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you later.